Hello everyone, this is Gene again. I'm back with another video. I'm in the JOB, the secret location. Don't tell nobody. But anyway, I wanted to make a very quick video, a bit of an additional video expressing a few more thoughts on the situation with, it's not really a situation, but with Amanda Winn and her epic roast. Her epic roast of Vic Mignogna, Ty Beard, and Chuck Huber, which, keep in mind, weren't even at the roast. If you're a bit unfamiliar with this situation, I humbly ask that you watch the previous video that I did on this earlier this morning. That should bring you up to speed. But believe it or not, what I wanted to talk about with this video is actually more about Vic. Vic and the difference between him and Amanda, but also more importantly, the difference between a leader, at least in my opinion, the difference between a leader and a coward. So I've been trying to catch up on some Vic stuff. I kind of fell out of it for a few months around September. And something I've noticed, especially in the contrast between Vic and excuse me, Amanda, is that Vic, despite everything he's been through for almost a year now, and it's going to continue on yet because the legal process is long and arduous, so it's not as if it's coming to the end anytime soon. It's not. But despite all that, he has been, for the most part, incredibly positive with his fan base. And this is very important because, as you may know, I have been critiquing a certain somebody on how they interact with their fans and what they do and don't say as regarding their fans, and basically being a leader. And really, I think Vic is to be commended so much for being a stand-up guy and an incredibly great leader for his fan community during this time, because he could let his negativity, because let's be honest, he said himself he's been suffering with depression and everything. He could let his negativity get the best of him. He could behave in a very self-serving manner. He could dwell on the negativity of the whole situation, which would be understandable, especially when he's the innocent party in this, right? No one that has accused him of anything has been able to definitively prove their claims. And in fact, time and time again, their claims have been disproven by Vic supporters who collectively call themselves I Stand with Vic, right? So, right, but still, right, all of the proving, right, that you're innocent in the world doesn't undo all the pain that the situation has no doubt cost him, because as I've said several times in other videos that I made last year about the situation, Vic's life as he knows it is over, right? His career as he knows it is over. He can't go back to Funimation or Rooster Teeth, even if he wanted to. Even if they offered to let him come back, even if they rehired him, he can't go back. How do you look in the faces of the same people who were saying such terrible things about you? How would he ever be able to work with Jamie Marchi or Monica Rial or Christopher Sabat or Sean Schimmel and so many other people that have, how do I put this, who have not only shown their true face, but have also shown their ass in this situation. For those who may not know, to show your ass is basically to sort of like make a fool of yourself. It doesn't mean to literally show off your backside. I know we live in the age of Instagram and everything, but it's don't do it literally. Don't take it literally. But anyway, right? He could let all of this overwhelm him, and he could let that negativity seep into his interactions with his fans. But he doesn't. He keeps it positive. He keeps it, I would say, focused, right? And he constantly encourages his fans, whether he's telling them to not get into internet arguments, on his behalf, whether he's telling them to not allow themselves to be bullied and to stand up, right? When if they feel someone, actually is bullying them and wronging them, he does these things. He keeps his interactions and his expectations of his audience incredibly positive. And I think that is so wonderful and to be commended because, as I've said in other videos about another certain individual, your audience, especially if you are a large either public figure or a well-known figure in your particular niche, right? Your audience is a reflection of you to a degree. Your audience, right, shows what type of people gravitate toward you, or at least gravitate toward your persona, your product, or whatever it is, right? So it is saying something about you. Maybe not everything about you, but certainly something about you. And what we see with Vic and his interactions with his fans is that he is endlessly positive. And at least from what I can tell, it seems to be 100% sincere. Now is this to say Vic is a perfect person with no flaws? Absolutely not. In fact, many of his flaws, especially as a romantic partner, have been laid bare because of the situation. But that has nothing to do with his job, right? You only care about what he is as a boyfriend if you plan to date him. That's when that matters, right? But when it comes to interacting with his fans and just truly being a bright light and a beam of positivity and warmth, Vic has been that. And I think that is so wonderful because there are two things I think that a person can play to when they have a large audience. You can either play to people's higher nature or you can play to a person's base instincts, right? You can either appeal to the higher love as the song goes, or you can appeal to the most base, crass elements of themselves. And Vic, fortunately, does his best to appeal to the better nature of his audience. Now you contrast him with Amanda Winn Lee, who in my estimation, as I said in my other video about her, is a coward, or at the very least has been acting cowardly in this situation. And if you look, you'll see that her interactions with people, mainly on Twitter, right, are incredibly vitriolic, and something that you'll see on Twitter, especially from people like that who how do I put it, who get caught showing their backsides, like she did, roasting 3 people who were not even in the room, right? They, as I said in the other video, they do these type of things because they think that they are safe. They think that they are among like-minded people. Kind of reminds me of some people I've been interacting with recently. But anyway, they do this thinking that no one's going to say anything, no one's going to check them, no one's going to criticize them, right? Then, in one way or another, the information comes out. The information comes out, and now it's out in the open air, right? Her video has been spread, it's exposed, and now, of course, she's facing the very thing that she was trying to hide from, which is criticism, which is people who are not in her hug box. And what does she do, right? She tries to beg off, right? Which is what I find that people who behave cowardly tend to do once they're out and once they're actually confronted with what they've done, and they're no longer in their like-minded hug space. They try to beg off in some fashion. Sometimes they will beg off while still trying to talk tough. Like, if you've ever been in this situation or you've seen it on TV, maybe like an after-school special, whatever, you'll have like the bullying somebody, then when the person like stands up for themselves or someone else stands up for them, the bully will start talking tough, like, I'll kick your butt, I'll take you both on, right? But they're the ones backing away, right? They're talking tough and they're throwing hand signs and trying to flex, but they're the ones backing away, right? That tends to be what a coward does, right? When they're actually confronted. Because, see, what cowardly people or people who behave cowardly in certain situations do is that they act all big and bad when they think no one's looking, when they think that nobody is around, or they feel that nobody will actually confront them on it. Then when they are actually confronted on it, right, then they don't know what to do, because the very thing they were relying on to protect them was the lack of resistance. And when that's gone, oftentimes all they have left to do is to just try to beg off, right? Now, Amanda didn't do the tough talking while backing away. What she did is what I like to call the fainting actress, right? The overdramatic fainting actress. She put out a tweet stating that, I'm tired of the fighting, I'm tired of the negativity, I'm tired of the division. Negativity that she contributed to. Negativity that she caused. She's not tired of the negativity. She's tired of being called out on it. That's what she's tired of. If that video had never leaked, right, she wouldn't have one problem with it. But the thing is that if you look through her Twitter, if you were to compare Vic's Twitter and her Twitter, Vic's Twitter is full of positivity, positive interactions with his fans, positive messages. Amanda's Twitter is filled to the brim with either, I would say, false pride. And what I mean is that if you look at her pinned tweet, right, you'll see where she talks about how you can't police her tone, and if that's your plan, you should F off, and she'll flail you alive and all this other. Honey, all you needed to say was, don't criticize me. Would have been a lot easier. Because that's ultimately all that tweet amounts to. It's just basically saying, don't criticize me, okay? I've been in enough fights in life, and I've seen enough sports to know when somebody is really about it, and when somebody's just puffing their chest and talking tough. She's puffing her chest and talking tough, right? But when she actually gets criticism, then it's, oh, I'm just so tired. I'm tired of the negativity. No, you're not, honey. You're tired of the negativity that's being thrown at you, and you want it to stop. But you're not tired of the negativity or the pain that you've caused others, because something else you'll notice that cowardly people tend to do is that even when they beg off, they won't apologize for what they did, right? They'll beg off. They may sometimes admit some fault. Maybe. But very rarely will they ever apologize for what they did, for the pain that they caused, because in their mind, it's justified. Why do I have to apologize? Who cares if I hurt somebody else with my actions for no reason at all? Who cares if I stirred the pot of an already contentious situation? I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't violate any laws. I'm not responsible. I'm not responsible for your hurt feelings. There are instances where such a phrase is true, but there are also instances where such a phrase and similar phrases are simply used to try to shrug off responsibility for one's actions and for the aftermath of those actions, right? And I would say that in this case, Amanda Winn Lee, like sadly many cowardly people, are doing that, right? When they're confronted and told you should take responsibility, then it's, I'm not responsible. I can't control other people. No, you can't control other people, but you can speak out about what they do, especially if they carry your banner and your flag. But either way, right? You have one person who's playing to his party to his audiences and to his fans better nature, while you have another person who is fanning the flames of discontent by treating anybody who is not in her hug box as an enemy. So there is, at least to me, the difference between a leader, Vic, even in this instance of, great difficulty and injustice in his life, and a coward, Amanda Winn Lee, who can do nothing but basically lash out in pain because honestly, what else does she have? But anyway, that's the video. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.